Capricorn, stop what you're doing and listen with your soul, not your ears. Because between June 22nd and June 25, something rare, something sacred begins. It's called the Saturn Soul Trial, and it was written into your destiny before you were even born. This isn't astrology as you've known it. This isn't about traits or trends or personality tests. This is a soul summons. A karmic contract is being activated, and only Capricorn has the power to break it. You see, you weren't born under the hardest sign by accident. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, discipline, sacrifice, and ancient truth. Saturn doesn't reward the loudest, it rewards the most prepared. And guess what? You've been preparing for this since childhood. That heaviness you've always carried, that pressure to be responsible, to stay strong when others fall apart, that wasn't random. That was the training ground, because starting June 26th, you begin the climb that your ancestors couldn't finish. The climb that leads to the karma pyramid, a hidden structure of generational pain, unspoken burdens, and unfinished soul work. Most people will never see it, but you were born to destroy it. And when you do, you don't just free yourself, you liberate your bloodline. This isn't about success. This is about spiritual revolution. If your soul has felt restless lately, if you've been sensing something massive building in the background, if your dreams have become vivid, emotional, or filled with symbols you don't fully understand, that's not a coincidence. That's your soul remembering why you came here. And if you're watching this now, it's not by accident. It's by design. You didn't come here to be liked. You didn't come here to play small. You didn't even come here to win. You came here to break the old world and rebuild it in the name of truth, integrity, and higher wisdom. Capricorn, this is your moment. June 22 to 25 is not just another date range. It's a door, it's a reckoning, and it's your awakening. Welcome to the Saturn Soul Trial. Now let's begin. Let's be honest, Capricorn. You've always felt different. Not better, not worse, just older. Even as a kid, something in you felt ancient, like your soul remembered things this world had forgotten. You weren't the one running wild on the playground or throwing tantrums in the store. You were the one noticing, listening, thinking, absorbing. From a young age, people probably told you, you're so mature for your age. You've got an old soul. But what they didn't realize is that wasn't a compliment. It was a hint, a clue, a sign of what Saturn encoded deep in your spirit. Capricorn children often carry responsibilities far beyond their years. Maybe you had to grow up fast. Maybe you were the peacemaker in a chaotic home. Maybe you felt safer being alone than being misunderstood. While others played, you analyzed. While others laughed, you questioned. And when the world hurt, you carried it in silence. But here's the cosmic truth. That silence wasn't emptiness. It was wisdom waiting to wake up. You weren't born into ease. You were born into purpose. You weren't sent here to float through life. You were sent here to build a new one. That heaviness you felt, that internal pressure that's hard to explain, it's not depression, it's not dysfunction, it's the weight of ancient responsibility. It's your soul whispering, it's time to remember who you are. Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the master teacher of the zodiac. Saturn doesn't hand out trophies for participation. It challenges, tests, and refines until only truth remains. And for you, the lessons began the moment you took your first breath. Every moment you felt left out, every time you were forced to be strong, every silent cry you swallowed, that was Saturn shaping you. Why? Because you weren't born to play the game. You were born to rebuild the board. That old soul energy inside you, it's not just from this life. It's the echo of lifetimes of unfinished work, karmic roles, ancient duties, spiritual promises carried across time. And now in this lifetime, in this year, in this moment, You finally have the chance to finish what your past selves began. So if you've ever wondered why you feel exhausted but you haven't done much, why you crave peace but can't sit still, why you can sense people's emotions without them saying a word, it's because your soul isn't new here. It's a builder, a climber, a breaker of karmic chains. And Saturn? It didn't curse you with pressure, it trusted you with power. Capricorn, the reason you've always felt older is because you've always been the one chosen to lead when the world forgets how. And now, the world is forgetting, and your time is coming. Capricorn, there's a structure that has quietly shaped your entire life, one you didn't build, but were born into. It's not physical, it's not visible to most, but it is very real, and its name is the Karma Pyramid. This pyramid isn't in the sky, it's in your spirit, layered into your soul from lifetimes of ancestral burdens, collective expectations, and cosmic promises. It has 3 levels, and each one holds a part of the weight you've carried without knowing why. Level 1. Inherited Karma. Visual. A family tree cracking at the roots, silent dinner tables, suppressed tears. This is the layer passed down through your blood. Emotional silence, generations of self-sacrifice, unspoken trauma no one ever talked about, but you felt. You became the strong one in a family that never learned how to feel. You were taught to be the provider, the achiever, the fixer, even when you were hurting. That wasn't love, it was legacy. And now you're the one being asked to break it. Level 2. Collective Karma. Visual, crowded cities, dollar signs, deadlines, judgmental crowds. This is the weight of the world, the pressure to perform, the guilt of wanting rest in a society that only praises results. Capricorns are often cast into roles of leadership, responsibility, and silent resilience, not because you wanted it, but because the collective needed someone to hold the system together. But when the system is broken, who heals you? This level is about reclaiming your identity beyond your job, your income, or your image. Level 3. Cosmic Karma. Visual. Stars swirling backward in time, visions of past lives, Saturn watching silently. Here lies the deepest layer. Soul contracts from past lives, unfinished missions, promises you made in ancient times that still echo today. This is where Saturn speaks directly to your soul, not to punish you, but to complete what was never finished. The fears you can't explain, the wounds that feel older than your life, they're real, and they're waiting to be healed. And now, the pyramid is shaking. Between June 22nd and 25, the doors crack open. Saturn doesn't destroy. Saturn tests. This window is your chance to not just climb the pyramid, but to break it from within. You are not cursed. You are coded to complete what others ran from. The Karma Pyramid isn't your prison. It's your proving ground. Every level you transcend, you free not only yourself, but everyone who came before you. Capricorn. You weren't born to carry the pyramid, you were born to dismantle it. And the time is now. Capricorn. Every 7 years, Saturn returns with a test, not for your job, not for your image, but for your soul. And in 2025, from June 22 to June 25, the test is unlike anything before. This isn't just another Saturn cycle. This is the Saturn soul trial. And it's personal. You see, Saturn doesn't destroy, it reveals. It turns up the volume on what you thought was buried, finished, or forgotten, not to punish you, but to ask you, are you finally ready to face it with truth, not avoidance? Because this time, there's no running. This time you either evolve or repeat. What does the soul trial feel like? Visual, flashbacks, arguments, flash anger, tears in the dark, slow realization. Don't be surprised if old wounds suddenly resurface. Not just memories, but emotions you thought you had already dealt with. Suddenly you feel 10 years old again, disappointed, unheard, abandoned. That's not weakness. That's Saturn's spotlight showing you the soul wound you've tried to outwork, outperform, or bury. You may clash with authority figures, father energy, strict rules, systems, or power structures. Why? Because Saturn is the father archetype. And during the trial, it challenges every external symbol of control to wake up your internal authority. This might look like disagreements with bosses, frustration with rules, feeling like you're not being seen or valued. But look deeper. This isn't about them. It's about the parts of you still giving your power away. And then there's the emotional weight. Visual, Capricorn walking through shadows, carrying a glowing burden, childhood flashes, the sadness you buried, the pressure you normalized, the loneliness you carried as a badge of honor. Saturn brings it all to the surface, not to break you, but to unfreeze you. This isn't a setback, it's Saturn asking, are you finally ready to lead with soul, not survival? Because survival built the old you, but soul leadership, that's your next evolution. This trial is not a crisis, it's a rebirth disguised as reckoning. You've carried everyone else's weight. Now it's time to release your own, because what comes after this isn't just freedom. It's clarity, alignment, and power that comes from wholeness. Capricorn, the Saturn soul trial is a divine invitation, not to prove yourself to the world, but to return to yourself, to the you before the armor, to the you before the pyramid, to the you that remembers why your soul came here. The mountain isn't outside you, it's inside you. And June 22nd to 25 is when you climb it, not for achievement, but for ascension. Capricorn, the karma pyramid was never meant to trap you. It was meant to challenge you. And now you're ready to break it. But breaking it isn't about force. It's about facing the layers one by one with soul, not strategy. Here's how. Step 1. Forgive the silent sounds of your family. Visual. A younger Capricorn looking toward parents who can't speak, then gently releasing them. They didn't say the words you needed. They didn't show love in ways you could understand. Maybe they were cold, distant, or emotionally shut down. But here's the truth. What they couldn't say was never about you. It was about their own unhealed pyramid. Your job is not to carry their silence, it's to end it. And that begins with forgiveness, not for them, but for your freedom. Step 2. Stop being the provider all the time. Visual. Capricorn handing others the tools, then finally receiving a gift of light in return. You've been conditioned to give, fix, lead, support, sacrifice. You probably learned early on that love had to be earned through service, but here's your soul truth. You're not here to just build others up. You're allowed to be held too. You're allowed to rest, to receive, to be soft. The pyramid starts cracking the moment you stop trying to be everyone's foundation and start nurturing your own. Step 3. Face your past life fears. Visual. Saturn's ring spinning backward in time, flashes of old lifetimes, healer, warrior, builder, exile. Some of what you're afraid of now didn't even begin in this lifetime. You've likely lived lifetimes where you were punished for speaking out, abandoned for following your truth, or crushed under spiritual responsibility. That fear of failure, that terror of being seen, that urge to control everything, it's ancient, but it's not permanent. Start here. Meditate, journal. Ask yourself, what am I still avoiding? Not just from this life, but from others. Because what you avoid controls you. But what you face frees you. And here's the secret. The pyramid doesn't fall when you fight it. It breaks when you remember you were never trapped. You were chosen to dismantle the trap. This isn't about revenge, rebellion, or resistance. This is about soul reconstruction. You've always been the one in your lineage strong enough to stop the cycle. Now it's time to become the one wise enough to break it. With grace, with truth, and with light. Capricorn, the pyramid was the test. You are the key. And June 22nd to 25 is when the door opens, not outside, but within. Climb out and rise. Capricorn, the Saturn soul trial isn't just cosmic energy, it's a sacred activation window. Between June 22nd and June 25th, the universe opens a brief portal, and if you step through it with soul, you will break cycles that have followed you across lifetimes. This is your guide. These 4 days are not random. Each one is part of a spiritual sequence, a divine formula designed to help you pass the trial and rise beyond the pyramid. June 22nd, the release ritual. Visual, handwriting on parchment, candlelight, burning paper under a full moon. Write down everything you've carried that wasn't yours, the emotions you swallowed, the weight you took from your parents, the pressure to fix, provide, perform. Then take that paper and burn it. Let the smoke carry it into the void. This is your soul saying, "Sa, no more." June 23rd, the ascension moment. Visual, standing on a high place, hill, rooftop, or simply sitting with eyes closed in nature. Find a high point, a mountain if you can, or a rooftop, or even a quiet inner space. Sit, breathe, ask to connect to your higher self, the version of you that remembers why you're here. Visualize yourself standing above the karma pyramid, no longer inside it. See who you are when the weight is gone. June 24th, the voice of liberation. Visual, a quiet space, candlelight, whispering affirmations into the sky. Stand tall, light a candle. Speak this aloud like a vow. I release survival, I choose soul, I break the karma pyramid. Say it 3 times, say it with your chest, your soul, your fire. This is not affirmation, it's activation. June 25, the inner child celebration. Visual, dancing, laughing, painting, or simply walking barefoot in the grass. Do something you've denied yourself, something playful, spontaneous, or childlike. This is the joy your soul never got to feel in past lives, and this is how the universe knows you're truly ready to live beyond survival. Joy is rebellion. Joy is revolution. Joy is your reward. Signs the soul trial is activating. Sudden body chills with no cause, intense dreams of mountains, staircases, or unknown doors. Visions or feelings of ancestors, especially during quiet hours. A deep, unexplained need to be alone and reflect. These aren't random. They are Saturn's signals, their markers, clues, confirmations that your soul is awakening, your trial is active, and your spirit is remembering. Capricorn, this 4-day portal is your mountain. Climb it, speak to it, break through it, because on the other side is something no soul in your line has ever touched before. Freedom, Capricorn. What happens when you pass the Saturn soul trial? What happens when you finally break the karma pyramid? Something ancient, Mountain, unlocks. And it doesn't just change you, it activates your entire timeline. Because this isn't just about healing your past, it's about unlocking your destiny. Here's what's waiting for you on the other side. 1. Soul leadership visual. You standing in front of others, not controlling, but guiding with calm energy and wisdom. You were never meant to be a boss. You were meant to be a soul guide, a quiet force that others instinctively trust. You don't lead with ego, you lead with example. And once the pyramid crumbles, people will begin to feel your true presence, not your pressure. You become a magnet, not a manager, a lighthouse, not a lifeguard. This is leadership born from alignment, not from survival. 2. Freedom from ancestral weight. Visual, ancestral figures behind you, fading into light as you step forward, finally free. The silent burdens of your bloodline, the patterns that repeated through generations, the pain that no one else could name, but you felt every day, gone. Not because they healed, but because you did. Capricorn, you are the end of a karmic sentence your ancestors couldn't finish. When you pass this trial, you don't just heal yourself, you redeem your entire lineage. This is soul-level freedom, the kind that rewrites timelines. 3. Clarity of your 2030 mission. Visual. A timeline stretching forward, glowing nodes along the way. 2025, 2026, 2027, all the way to 2030. After this soul trial, the fog lifts, the doubt quiets, the distractions fall away. Suddenly, you'll begin to feel your true mission, not just in your job, but in your being. You'll know where you're meant to be, what you're meant to build, and who you're meant to serve. 2030 isn't just a date, it's a destiny point, and you're on the path to reach it finally as your whole self. Capricorn, you were never meant to be trapped by karma. You were born to redeem the bloodlines that came before you. You're not a victim of your past. You are the completion of it. And now, after lifetimes of carrying what wasn't yours, you are free to carry what is, your soul purpose. This is not the end. This is the unlocking, the beginning of the real you. The you who leads with heart, lives in truth, and climbs not for success, but for sacred impact. June 2025 was never meant to break you. It was designed to break you open. Now the light comes through. Now the climb begins again, but this time as the real you. Capricorn, this was never just about surviving. It was never about climbing to prove your worth, because your soul knew something others didn't. You weren't born to follow the path. You were born to rebuild it. You see, most people climb because they want recognition, but you were chosen to climb for a far greater reason, to dismantle a structure that was built before you were even born, a structure no one else could see, but one that controlled everything: pain, pressure, silence, duty. This is your Saturn soul trial, not a punishment, not a burden, a divine privilege, because Saturn doesn't test the weak. It tests the ones who carry sacred missions, the ones who were sent not just to heal, but to liberate entire lineages. Between June 22nd and June 25, the universe opens the gate, not just above you, within you, and only you can walk through it. It's time. Time to stop carrying the pain that was never yours. Time to release survival. Time to rise in soul. Awaken the mountain inside you, break the karma pyramid, and step fully into the role you were born to claim, the one who leads us into the new age. Because Capricorn, you weren't just born to lead, you were born to redeem the past, rewrite the present, and shape the future. This is the climb that matters. Comment: I break the karma pyramid. If you feel this truth deep in your soul, like this video if something inside you finally made sense. Subscribe for more soul timelines and zodiac prophecies tailored for your higher path. Share this with another Capricorn. They're not alone, and neither are you.